My name is Lois Adolph. My parents are Tommy and Priscilla Adolph from Fountain. I have transferred here in the early 80s. I know the agreement is very important, especially to the future generations. I know back in, like when they started it, way before they started the negotiations, my dad wanted to have the settlement with the Hydro and TELUS and BC Rail or CN or whatever it is now, the trains. And he talked about it a lot before they started the negotiations, so it's finally a reality, and it's good to see that the people are finally being involved in something like this. With the talks and the negotiations, there should be a lot of training, and there should be a lot of education and work, and hopefully a lot of young people get involved with the training starting now before it gets too late, before they start bringing in their own contractors.
My name is Michelle Edwards, and I am Stat Liam. I'm from the community of Sekw'el'was. My parents are Mike Edwards of Sekw'el'was and Linda Williams of Sekw'el'was. My grandparents are Evelyn Edwards, Henry Fenton, John Williams, and Katie Purcell. And unless you're really up to speed with the hydro agreements and what has been going on, it's really hard to understand, I think, if you were a newcomer. A good agreement, sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't. It just depends on, I guess, what I'm thinking of it. Like today, I had more negative thoughts about it, and that's just because you bring up the history of how our ancestors were affected and our culture and our history, and I'm more passionate about that, so it put me into a negative thought process for this meeting. But for the most part, I do promote it. But it's just the negativity of how our ancestors were pretty much pushed aside and they weren't thought of. That's what I guess really pisses me off about the agreement. I know since we've been having our own meetings, I mean, it's benefiting us by getting us together and meeting, which, you know, I think every community needs to do. You have to start meeting, but in that process, negative things start coming out, but it's teaching us how to start dealing with those. So it has been a benefit that it's gotten us together as a community, which before we weren't, in my opinion, but now we're actually starting to come together and bring back, you know, what is our culture in this community, and I see that benefiting us through this agreement.
Hi, my name's Tracy Redan. I'm from Pavilion, Sekw'el'was. Born and raised on Sekw'el'was here. Parents are Marilyn Bob and Wayne Redan. Grandparents are Georgina Redan, Johnny Redan. The meeting today, I think, was really good. I think more information was brought up and talked about, more understanding. My thoughts about this agreement is that I think it would really do the future good for children, our grandchildren. I really like what Darrell Bald said in his speech tonight, so it really touched a heart. If it's spent in the right way, if people are well educated on where the trust is going, what these funds can be used for, and hopefully our lands will be brought back like how it was in the early 1800s.